Hi, everybody, and welcome to day 15 of online virtual learning. Today, we are going to end the success unit. Your success project is due tonight at 11:59, so you need to make sure you get that submitted. And we're going to start the personal narrative / inform and explain unit. Mainly this week, if I had to give an official title to this week or in this lesson, mentor text is what we're going to be focusing on this week. It has a little bit of a personal narrative bent to it, but it's mainly a mentor text week on this. What is a mentor text, you might be asking? A mentor text is whenever you take an original text and you use the structure of it, use the style of it to convey your own thoughts. You don't take the thoughts that the other person has. That's plagiarism. That is bad. But if you use kind of the structure they put in place, that's perfectly fine as long as you replace it with your own ideas. Plagiarism is whenever you steal someone else's ideas. It's perfectly fine to borrow someone else's structure. You just need to put your own ideas in it, unless it's music. And then it becomes a whole different thing, and you might get sued by the Red Hot Chili Peppers or Tom Petty, but he's dead, so he's not going to be suing anybody anymore. But I wouldn't worry about that. I digress unless you go into songwriting. Let's focus on mentor text, though. So today, the activity / assignment that I have for you today revolves around using this piece by Sherman and Alexie and Kelly Gallagher and this student and myself and a couple of your other classmates to compose your own text using these texts as mentor text to kind of scaffold and kind of use to get your thing across. So I'm actually going to read all of these. I'm actually going to read these and then let you go and get to work. So the first one is about the original by Sherman and Alexie. The unofficial and unwritten, but you better follow them, are going to get beaten twice as hard, Spokane Indian rules of fisticuffs. That is the first one we're going to look at, and then we'll look at the one that Kelly Gallagher helped write, and then one that Kelly Gallagher's student wrote. All right, and then we'll read mine, and we'll read your classmates. And then spoiler alert, you're going to do your own. All right, so the unofficial and unwritten, but you better follow them, are going to be beaten twice as hard, Spokane Indian rules of fisticuffs. Number one, if someone insults you, then you have to fight him. Number two, if somebody is going to insult you, then you have to fight him. Number three, if you think somebody is thinking about insulting you, then you have to fight him. Number four, if somebody insults any of your family or friends, or if you think they're going to insult your family or friends, or if you think they're thinking about insulting your family or friends, then you have to fight him. Number five, you should never fight a girl unless she insults you, your family, or your friends, then you have to fight her. Number six, if somebody beats up your father or your mother, then you have to fight the son and or daughter of the person who beat up your mother or father. Number seven, if your mother or father beats up somebody, then that person's son or daughter will fight you. Number eight, you must always pick fights with the sons and or daughters of any Indians who work for the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Number nine, you must always pick fights with the sons and or daughters of any white people who live here on the reservation. Number 10, you get into a fight with somebody who is sure to beat you up, then you must throw the first punch because it's the only punch you'll ever get to throw. And number 11, in any fight, the loser is the first one who cries. So Sherman Alexie wrote this in his book, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. This little piece here actually shows up right after he got into a fight in the all-white school that he was an Indian that decided to attend an all-white school. He got into a fight and wondered why the other kid didn't fight him back. And then he realized all the cultural differences and came up with the unofficial and unwritten rules for Spokane Indian fighting. So Kelly Gallagher, this dude right here, wrote one for his students, and one of his students then wrote one using this as a mentor. So here's some things they took away. So one of the things they did, and you'll see on your copies, they left the parenthetical. The parenthetical is the parentheses, but you better follow them or you're going to get beaten twice as hard, close parentheses. That is the parenthetical that they use. They keep with that. All of these have 11 rules to it, and they build on rules. So rules will build off of one another. One rule will lead into the next rule, will lead into the next rule. And they use repetition. They repeat what they say a lot. So those are the things they took away from this original Sherman Alexie piece in order to compose their own pieces. So here's the one that was written by Kelly Gallagher. The unofficial and unwritten, but you better follow them if you want to be a baseball player, rules of baseball. Number 1, you cannot argue balls and strikes with the umpire. You can argue safe versus out, or you can argue fair versus foul, but if you argue ball/strike call, you will be taking an early shower. Number 2, if you ever argue with the umpire, do not discuss his mother. Never make it personal. Number 3, if the catcher wants you to ask the umpire where the pitch missed, he should not face the umpire. He should remain facing the pitchers as not to show up the umpire. Number 4, if the catcher is momentarily injured, the umpire will walk out and clean off home plate, even if it's not dirty. This is the courtesy to allow the injured player a moment to recover. Number 5, you should never steal a base, even if your team is ahead more than 5 runs. Doing so is a good way to ensure that you will have a pitch intentionally thrown at you the next time you come to bat. Number 6, never make the first or third out at third base. If you break this rule, it'll be a long walk to the dugout. Number 7, if one of your players gets knocked down by a pitch, then one of their players needs to get knocked down by a pitch as soon as possible. Number 8, if the best player gets hit with the pitch, then their best player will be hit with a pitch as soon as possible. Number 9, in certain situations, it is permissible to throw at an opposing batter. See Rule 8. However, it is never permissible to throw at a batter's head. No chin music allowed. Number 10, if you get hit by a pitch, don't rub it. And number 11, never say the word no-hitter when one is in progress. Don't talk to the pitcher who is in the process of throwing a no-hitter. Stay far away from that pitcher. So note how he takes the original text from Sherman and Alexie, and he puts his own spin on it. He takes his own content and puts it in the same structure. So it still has the parenthetical. It still follows the repetition similar rules. The rules kind of build off of one another, and each of them and it has 11 rules. That's the same thing that's going to happen with this next one. The unofficial and unwritten, but you better follow them if you want to be a musician in MHS rules of MHS band. Number 1, when there's a band event, arriving on time is considered arriving late. Number 2, when there's a band event, arriving early is considered arriving on time. Number 3, when there's a band event, arriving late means you shouldn't have arrived at all. Number 4, bouncing a ball of any kind in the band room will get you bounced out of band. Number 5, no PDA, public displays of affection in the band room. Number 6, Mr. Yim, the advisor, finds out you're having a relationship with another band member, you'll get the talk, which always ends in warnings against creating future band members. Number 7, freshmen must clean the bus. Number 8, while in uniform, do not eat gum. Number 9, while in uniform, do not chew gum. Number 10, while in uniform, no cursing. Number 11, if you eat or chew gum or curse while in uniform, you will no longer have a uniform. So once again, they followed the structure that Sherman and Alexie originally had, put their own spin on it, put their own content in there, but they're using the Sherman and Alexie piece to help give them a structure to work with. This is a very important skill to kind of pick up with. If you plan on taking college writing, SEMO always puts out this book called Beyond the Blank Page that has sample essays that you can read and kind of see the structure that they use and follow their structure to help yourself write those essays. And any essay. That's the reason why I say look at how these other authors are starting and closing their essays. You can follow kind of the beats that they follow and follow the structure that they use and put your own content in there to come up with your own ideas. All right, it's perfectly fine to follow someone else's structure. Here, I'm going to share my screen real fast. And here's the one that I wrote today with the face-to-face students. The official and unwritten, but you better follow them or you're going to be called a Barner, rules of Bama Twitter. Number 1, if Auburn is playing, you must root against them. Number 2, if you ever root for Auburn to do well, you'll be labeled a Barner. Number 3, relish in every pick that Tennessee commits. Number 4, if the state of Alabama is ranked number 1 in anything, obesity, of crows per capita, etc., claim a national title in that thing. Number 5, if Alabama immediately cried that the sky is falling and all is doomed. Number 6, if Alabama is leading, stunting on every awesome play they make. Number 7, use eye-rolling gifs when people at you things about the kick 6. Number 8, be prepared to point out any crazy voodoo magic Auburn exploits to win, trick plays, miracle plays, etc. Number 9, label people that only support Alabama football as fogs, football only gumps. Number 10, ignore anyone who's a fog. And number 11, don't be afraid to gump your little heart out. So Those were mine that I used the original text as kind of my mentor text to build off of and spin off of. And your classmates also did these. And I'll say their names, but I'm going to read them because they were good. They were really good. All right. Let's see. Where's the best? Here's the two of the best ones I read. So the unofficial and unwritten, but you better follow them, are going to get bullied of being an offensive lineman at Porterville High School. Number 1, Coach Red is the best lineman in the state. Number 2, holding is not a penalty; it is frowned upon. Number 3, if they are bigger than you, cut. Number 4, if they're faster than you, cut. Number 5, if they're smarter than you, cut. Number 6, if you can't not cut, bear crawl or hold. Number 7, the smart on the line. Number 8, after a pancake, lay on that person you pancaked. Number 9, quarterbacks and running backs are old linemen's annoying little kids. Number 10, if the ball on the ground, pick it up and you're the new running back. And number 11, linemen air conditioners noticed when they're not working. All right, that was a good one. That was a good one written by that student. And here's another one. I apologize for my horrible Spanish. But the unofficial and unwritten, but you better follow them if you don't want a chancla thrown at you of Mexican cooking. Number 1, seasoning is a must on everything. Number 2, if someone doesn't want a burrito, burrito. Number 3, abuelita is head of the kitchen. Abuelita is grandmother in Spanish, apparently. Number 4, if you go against abuelita, you will get 23 chanclalas thrown at you. Number 5, you'll have to earn the trust. You have to earn after a mistake by sitting at the table and waiting. Number 6, handmade is a must. 7, if you insult grandmas and abuelitas and any other Mexican mom, you will be punished by the chanclala, and whatever that person you insulted you wants to punish you with. Number 8, say yes to food when offered, even if you're full. Number 9, if you say no, see rule 8, present a good reason or face the chanclala. I am very sorry if I'm butchering that word. Number 10, every dinner made, and if not, you don't have, and if you don't have time, make time. And number 11, any of these rules broken will result in having your Mexican card revoked. So there you go. So what I want you to do, just like your classmates, just like me, just like that kid on Kelly Gallagher students, just like Kelly Gallagher, just like Sherman Alexie, come up with your own unofficial and unwritten rules about something. Or technically it would be the unofficial and your own unofficial and unwritten, but you better follow them or blank rules for something. All right. And there has to be 11 of them. Make sure you have the parenthetical. Make sure you follow there's 11 rules, and make sure you try to build off rules, and make sure that you try to use repetition a little bit. So that will be your assignment for today. Tomorrow we'll start talking more. We'll introduce personal narratives, and we'll start talking about the crossover by Kwame Alexander. But until then, I will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out later, Reno, and all that fun jazz.